Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's Eunice. God bless you all so much for tuning in. We are in the month of August by the grace of God. And it is only the doing of the Lord that we have come this far. And we are able to see with our eyes and testify that God has indeed brought us thus far. And I'm reminded of John chapter 5, the healing that took place at a pool. And not just any pool for that matter, but a pool that symbolizes healing, strength, restoration. Because at the time that the healing that took place at this specific pool in John chapter 5, it's mentioned again and again and again that literally only people who carry strength, right? Only people who were able to say that I'm able to do this for myself were able to get into the pool. And so there was a man who was literally considered invalid, meaning that he wasn't considered valuable. He wasn't even noticed. He wasn't even taken into consideration amongst the people who got into the pool. This man, 38 years of being invalid, gets into a pool, and he doesn't just get into it. He realizes that when he's about to get into the pool, that he's healed instantly. He was literally laying on a mat, and it took Jesus Christ to come down in the form of man and literally approach this man and say, hey, do you want to be well? Do you see yourself getting well? Do you see yourself doing what everyone else in the pool is doing? Do you see yourself being able to say, yes, I can do this for myself? Then get up. Rest assured, when you believe that you can get into that pool, you will get into that pool. And so this man gets up. At the command of Jesus Christ, he gets up, he gets into a pool. And the scripture says that instantly when he heard get up and pick up your mat and just go, literally this man followed the command, the voice of Jesus Christ, and went into the pool. And instantly he received healing in the pool. And that day was the day that symbolized that he was no longer invalid. He was no longer considered an outcast. He was no longer considered weird or different or off or, someone who, everyone just disregards. In that moment, he mattered. In that moment, he felt rest assured that there was joy, that there was hope for him, even though he had waited nearly 40 years to see the unspeakable. He had to sit amongst everyone else and continue to suffer for odd years when everyone else was able to get into a pool that offered healing, that offered restoration. In those years that the man was considered invalid, he never sought that he could actually stand up at close to 40 years and say that God was going to do this through his son. But rest assured, God did. God shown and proved himself again and again that he went up to someone who was considered an outcast, a nobody, and said, today is your day that you're going to receive healing. And it's amazing because when you read John chapter 5, after this man who was invalid was told, pick up your mat and walk. In verse 14, Jesus found him at the temple and said to him, see, you are well again. Stop sinning or something worse may happen to you. And this was a reminder that just because you prayed for this, just because you sought out and you sought the face of God and you received the Bethesda Glory, that doesn't mean that you just go around and act anyhow. Don't forget that you waited nearly 40 years. You waited an impossible amount of years to receive and to seek the glory of God. Don't forget that just because you've received this, that it just ends there, that you can just do what everyone else is doing. Because literally, this man that was considered invalid needed a reminder from Jesus that yes, he heals, yes, he restores, but we must be reminded that as children of God, that we don't forget the things that God does, that we don't follow disobedience, that we don't follow arrogance, that we don't follow pride, because you You toil for something for so long. That doesn't mean that you've received it, so who cares? Go ahead and do whatever you want. We as believers, as children of God, we must be reminded that in order to continue to receive the Bethesda glory, we have to do what no one has ever seen done before. We have to behave and act in a way that glorifies God. In this month of August, I want you to be reminded that you're receiving testimonies, and as you are testifying about the goodness of God, tell someone that God is still healing, that God is still doing what no man can do, that God is still rest assuring us that he is faithful time and time again. My name is Eunice, and as always, continue to flourish in the things of God. Continue to be you. Continue to follow the voice of God and the command of God, and he will always order your steps.